Yeah, I grew up in East LA, Boyle Heights, in a barrio named White Fence, and like most of us, I wanted to be part of something, so I joined a neighborhood gang. Little did I know at that time that I would spend the next 40 years living a very violent life in and out of prison. So I went through the YA system, Whittier, Preston, and as an adult, Soledad, Tracy, Soledad, San Quentin, Folsom, Pelican Bay. I got out in '93. But in that time, I became a member of the Mexican Mafia, a shot caller, telling people what to do. I'm not here to impress you with my past. I'm here to tell you the truth. And, for anybody who wants to be a gang member, why do you want to be a gang member if that piece of concrete you're claiming don't even belong to you? It belongs to the city. It was there before you grew up. It's going to be there when you're dead. So you kill somebody over a piece of concrete, and who do you hang around with in prison when you get 25 to life? The guys whom you kill, because then it becomes north-south. So that's tactics from the devil, divide and conquer. Here you are fighting northerners, and we're all brothers in the Lord,
I need some money right now.
Wow. All right. Y'all. I did get some audio. I'm gonna set us up an interview on one of these, right?
Thank you, man. Thank you for your help. Hey, of course. Blows up, brother. Thank you.
All right. So, first of all, congratulations, man, for finishing the film. And how long did that take for this filming?
Oh man, I say about off and on I'd say about a year, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the project was we had some breaks in between. We thought we had everything. We had to finish some stuff up, make it a complete movie.
Okay.
So we had to finish some more scenes. So that's why we're here. We got it done.
Praise God. And it's my understanding you've been getting a lot of work lately. Before we get started, I just want to talk about that. Some of the recent projects that you've been on. I've seen that. Seen a photo of you, I guess, with LL Cool J and things of that sort. So tell us a little bit about some of the recent projects you've been involved in.
Kilroy was kind of like one of the ones that kind of set me off to start making this thing kind of snowball. I did something with Richard Cabral. He's a solid Chicano actor. He's on Mayans and stuff like that. And I did. That was a Homeboy Industry project.
Right.
And then it was like a little infomercial, and then it just started snowballing too. I did Shameless. I got a recurring on Shameless.
Yeah.
Season 9, episode 5 and 6, and then I did In His Hands is another independent movie I'm doing. I'm playing a trainer boxer, and then it just kept snowballing.
How far are you on that one? How far are you on
you know what? To be honest, I'm gonna say half. It's probably a little bit more than that.
Right.
But I would say about half. But we shooting in a couple of weeks. I got a fight scene, so I got to lose a little bit of weight and stuff like that. But overall, it's NCIS. I booked NCIS LA, and I got to work with Goldberg and one of my favorite rappers of all time, LL. So I was kind of starstruck. Okay. But I kept it cool. LA, man, I'm feeling you. I like you, dog. But I don't want to bother you. It was cool though, man. And then I just booked something else. I can't really talk about that yet because of non-disclosure agreement, so I can't really say that. But it's a big show. It's a #1 show on TV, and it's a recurring role for that. So I'm excited for that too.
Things have been happening pretty fast.
God's been good, man. Yeah. Even in my turmoil and my tribulations, God still shows me that He cares about me and that He wants me to win. So
praise God. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, how did you prepare yourself for this role?
Kilroy.
Yeah. And how did that come about? First of all, how did that come about?
I was talking to Pete, and actually I was talking to Paul. Paul had called me and he goes, "You know what, man? We were going to little faith groups here and there on Saturdays when I was able to make it and stuff. But he was going pretty religiously and stuff, And then he hit me up one time and he goes, "You know what, man? We're thinking about doing Kilroy." I don't know exactly how the words were, but basically he was like, "I think you would be a good role for for Kilroy, because I saw you and I just saw your face and I said, man, you look like Kilroy. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So he said, hey, we're gonna have this audition. Meet us at this location. Went to the location. They asked me to do a scene, did the scene, and it was like, bro, you're the one. If you want it, yeah, it was godsend,
Right.
So.
Now, we talked a little bit briefly before the interview, and wanted to ask you, how did your past life, you was telling me a little bit about your past, how do you believe your past life helped prepare you for this role?
Right. Well, and when you go to school and you take acting classes, they talk about bridging the gap. So if you try and find all the things that match with the character you're with, so you can bridge a better gap, so that gap isn't there no more, and then you manifest into that person, or those things. So that I did a lot of that, researched a lot on YouTube about Kilroy, and then I talked to him. I got the chance to talk to him, and he's still alive and well.
How was that when you talked to him?
It was intense because I know he's changed man, but still, I usually sometimes put a little bit too much on everybody and give everybody a little bit, way more than I should. But Kilroy deserves it. He's a good man. But this dude was a somebody,
right.
And it's like, and it's just like it's intense, man. It's like, wow, he's a changed man, but he was this. I was like, God, how was prison life? He was in solitary confinement. How was that like? I just wanted to ask him so many things, maybe off the wall for him, but it was intense. It was very intense. So I tried to soak up as much as I could from him. I was trying to get his voice. I was wishing I could do a Jamie Foxx,
You
but
pretty good. You do
thanks.
pretty well. Yeah. Now, so did he try to guide you in any of the parts?
I think, I would say yes. There was some stories that he had, and of course we couldn't do them exactly,
right? But
he told me the stories, so they emulate. They're pretty correct. They're pretty right on. The only thing is, we had to change the settings,
right.
But the actions were still there and stuff like that. So like I said, once he sees it and he finally gets the last look of it, I hope I did it justice, and I hope he finds it that it was all in God's name. We had to show the bad in order to show what transpired and what good came. So I hope he's okay with that.
Okay. Now, what scene in this movie impacted you the most, and why?
Man, I would say the scenes with his son, because being a father at times you can miss things. You can take things for granted.
Right.
And his story.
Well, tell us about that scene. Like, what scene was it?
There was a scene where actually it was a prison scene where Kilroy he got off on a technicality. He didn't have what they thought he was convicted for, and he was getting out. And so it just so happened that he crossed paths with his son. His son was actually taking his cell, and he was going to go out. And it brought up so much because he still had to be irreparable. But I took it further, and I never shared this with him because I don't know how he felt, but I was thinking, I didn't have a chance to talk to him. I felt like, man, what if I saw my son? And as much as I had to hold my mud, I'm like, man, we here. And it's like, still have to hold my mud. But anytime the actor, Steve Villegas, would turn away, I would tear, I would fight back these feelings.
So you was feeling it.
Yeah, yeah. But when he looked at me, I'd try and keep a straight face, and you know how it is. You straighten up in the pen, or wherever you're at, and it was difficult, but it was beautiful at the same time. I felt it. I felt like, man, this is something, and it's relatable because I deal with that every day. My son's over there now, and I love my kids, but Daddy's not perfect.
I hear you. So, what character other than Kilroy do you feel you can relate to, and why? Like, just basically growing up. Is there anybody in the film that you're like, man, that reminds me of someone I grew up with?
There's a lot of actors I like. I really enjoy. I'm still a big Robert De Niro and Al Pacino
Well, I'm talking about
fan.
in the film. I'm talking about in the Kilroy film.
In the Kilroy
is there
fan?
any characters within the,
I think
movie?
all of them. If biblically, you saw you saw Kilroy as Saul before he was Paul, you know, and then you see him, you know, you see him be, what's the other guy I was gonna think of? I'm sorry, I drew a blank, but with him it was more the heart thing. It was more the heart what I saw with him. Everybody else, I could see Steve, Steve Villegas, who played my son, how he felt not having his dad around. You know, there was times when my father wasn't around. I could relate. Is that kind of where we're going with this?
Exactly.
For the Kilroy film, and that's pretty much it, man. You know, yeah.
Okay, now you're a Christian. You're a believer.
Yeah, I'm a disciple.
Now, when did you become a disciple, a Christian?
Man, I was a disciple in 2000, and
how did that come about?
I was just running amok. And my wife was like, "Look, man, you either gonna marry me or we done." And I was someplace else, bro. And it's been a fight, man, but I didn't want to lose my family, and I became a disciple, and then I brought my wife in. And
but what was it? What was that significant event that pulled you into where you
I hit rock bottom.
Surrendered.
I hit rock bottom with the drug addiction, man.
And was somebody that reached out to you?
Yeah, I had a friend named Squeak. He was a follower, and he told me, come with me, man. You know, and God's gonna give you rest. You know, and
it's a real friend.
Yeah, it is a real friend, man. So it was intense, man.
So how did this movie impact you spiritually?
Impacted me spiritually because Kilroy's he's done a lot, and we all have, sin is sin in God's eyes, and he's able to tell his story. I really to be honest, that he's a Christian man, and he never debriefed.
Right.
Doesn't matter in the Christian world whether you debriefed or you didn't, because God don't see that, humans see that. But I still felt like, I like this guy, man.
Right.
He did everything, and he still never felt like he needed to say anything else.
Right.
He told his story, and he always says, "Look, I'm not here to show off or to tell you guys that my past is so great. It had to be this, and now it's this, and he's 80 years old, still walking, man.
And rapping.
Yeah.
I've been on film saying some raps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that rap. I know the one rap he does all the time, man.
Right.
I dig that one style. He's the one he says, he goes, if you have pride, we say, if you have pride, you're gonna die.
Right.
Right? And so, if you have pride, the devil's gonna take you for a ride, and you think you think you high, right? He said,
right.
He says, but you're gonna die. JC will keep you alive, and you'll survive. And that's no job.
That whole thing.
I wanted to do it for the film, because I know that's him. And him you saying, God can use a fool for a tool. Those kind of things that I always try to catch, as I was him.
Right.
Those kind of little points where I was like, I want to use that because that's him,
Yeah, that's powerful. He also has one where he talks about his age. He has a rhyme for every other at his age from 60 on or something.
Yeah. He's a good man. That guy's incredible.
Right. Okay.
They asked me what my name was. Wait a minute. They asked me what my name was. I told Kilroy was my name. They asked me what was my claim to fame. I told them knocking out names was my claim to fame. But when I met Jesus Christ, I was never the same. And I ain't ashamed to mention it. 65, Jesus kept me alive. That was no jive. 2006, Jesus put me in the mix. I was 66. 2007, I was 67. Now he has me on my way to heaven. 2008, I was 68. It's never too late. 2009, I was 69. I'm right in line. I'm 70. It's going to be heaven. Oh, wait a minute. I'm 71. And it's been fun since I put Jesus Christ as number one in my life.
Well, like I said, how do you believe movies and music influence the youth of today?
I mean, how long we got?
Yeah. You know, well, let's kind of narrow that question down. How did it impact you? How did movies and music influence your growing up?
I mean, to be frank, you know, Benny Hill, movies like that,
Benny Hill, who's Benny Hill?
Benny Hill was a
Some don't
famous
know.
British actor, comedian,
Right.
who had the Benny Hill show, and we was young.
yeah,
That was our
that's
thing.
right.
We watched, but he had a lot of provocative things on there.
Yeah.
And you know, my eyes got big. You know, I would tell my kids, "What are you doing?" You know, like
Right.
watching that, and then gangster rap, I thought was the best thing that ever landed on planet Earth. And
Right.
now I listen to the music, and I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah.
I cannot believe I listened to that stuff. And I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, to each his own. I just know for me, I can't no more.
Now, how did it impact you, though?
I mean, you know, I think, you know, like music, you know, like you working out and you hear some music, you know, some rock or
Right.
something, and you like, yeah, I'm about to hit this 400 pounds, you know, or.
But did it ever, like, you know, impact, like, your mentality
Oh, yeah.
on the streets?
Yeah, that's
and
what I'm
any
saying.
in particular
It would
artist or group?
Yeah, well, NWA,
Right.
You know, anything.
A lot of people say that.
any gangster rap, you know, any gangster rap that talked about brandishing, selling, using, exploiting, you know, we lived that life, and I would drive down the street, man. It's funny, I remember I was hearing a story of a legendary gang member in Los Angeles. He said he was one way with his wife, and when he put on Tupac and stuff, and he hit the city, he was somebody else. And he's legendary in the streets. I don't want to say his name, but
Right.
but he's very legendary. And I was like, yo, I was the same way. Everybody. I mean, I got friends to this day did acts that they're still in jail for because of hearing music that got them pumped up to do something bad.
Right.
You know.
So how does that feel now, being an actor, being able to use your God-given gift to basically, you know, project out a message in your craft that's positive, that could change, well, it will change, I believe, you know,
Right.
thousands, maybe millions of lives. How does that feel to be a
It
part
feels
of
good.
a project like that?
It feels good. It feels good because when you're first an actor, you want to do any and everything, and then you have to start realizing that maybe anything and everything is not good,
Right.
because you'll bring out a bad energy or a bad vibe to people. I've done some things I'm not proud of in acting,
Right.
But to a positive movie like this,
And a positive soundtrack. It has a Christian
yeah,
soundtrack.
you know, the messages on it, second chances on it, and you can't deny. Look, if God's always been good for the people, He's always done the right thing. The Christian way maybe had been forced on some people where they might feel like, yo, I don't like this because of the way it was given to us. But the lifestyle is a peaceful lifestyle.
That's right.
You know, it's not about judging, it's about loving. You know, and it's about what God gives the human people. Human people, they're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. You're judging a religion or spirituality based on what a human might perceive, and that's not always right. If you read the Bible, God talks about it's a spiritualism, and people who are doing the right thing, you see the wholesome, and even when they're doing the wrong thing, they're doing their best to work through things. But people are quick to judge and stuff like that. But anyway, it's good to do acting. You're able to turn it on, and you're able to turn it off.
Right.
I could be bad Kilroy, and I could be good Kilroy. Actually, I wish I could turn good Kilroy on all the time. You know, my wife can tell you different, but bad Kilroy, good Kilroy, and I'm able to come home and I'm me, and I don't have to wear that mask. My friend used to say all the time, he had masks, and come home, put on another mask, go outside, put on another mask, and we were just putting on masks.
Right.
I've been acting since I was a kid. I just,
That's
you
deep.
know, yeah. I told you I was playing. I mean, I thought it was a game till it got super serious.
Right.
But it was all, I was just, you know, I was just out there trying to, you know, get in where I could fit in. Yeah.
That's powerful. Now, what is the core message that you want the audience to take home after they see this movie? I mean, what are you trying to project out there? I mean, what do you hope that people leave with?
I'd say don't judge a book by its cover. If you was just to see Kilroy and listen to Kilroy or know his story from the beginning, then you wouldn't want to do anything. You wouldn't want to know anything else about him.
Right.
Right. But if you dig deeper and you see the transparency in him and you see the belief that he has and that he still holds true to this day, No matter if he's human and he has stumbling blocks, he has changed. You know what I'm saying? And I always used Saul, how Saul used to kill Christians.
Right.
Saul was on his mission to do what he had to do until God stopped him. And I feel that's what Jesus did to a lot of us. Mm-hmm. He did that with Kilroy. So I would definitely say, don't judge a book by its cover. You see it to the end, and you play that tape, you see that man is a good soulful man. And he's made amends with himself and who he was. And he's able to preach the gospel and tell people the truth, you know?
Right. Now, in that movie, there was a part, what's the most powerful part when that transformation, how was that playing that part when he got on his knees and was praying?
There was what was one scene, I don't know if it's the scene that we're talking about, but when his aunt came to see him, and he was like, when his aunt came to see him and he was going to run away because of, he owed some money and stuff, and then he stood there because he, wasn't going to run.
Right, that's right.
And then he said, and it was cool, he said like, I don't feel it, man. I'm praying God into my heart, but I don't feel it. And she was like, why don't you feel it? He goes, because I'm not jumping for joy. I'm not out of my body experience, nothing like that. It's just, I don't, what do you want? And then next thing you know, he got up and he felt funny. And then he started, like God showed him, he felt light on his feet.
That's exactly, he told me that story in person before.
And
that's exactly
and that's an intense scene because I know he was looking for something.
Right.
But he would just go back to the old ways because that's what he knew. But when he finally saw this and he saw that his aunt cared about him and was still coming after him even after that little thing that happened with them, it guided him. It guided him and it got him through. And to this day he's still doing what he's doing. So that was one of the more intense scenes where I felt like, he changed his life.
It sounds like this film ministered to you, just playing the part.
Yeah, I think
it's like just his testimony and playing his, playing that part, of him. This whole movie is his testimony.
It is.
Yeah.
It really stirred up a lot. It stirred up some good and some bad. It was some times that I was on the ropes with some things, because like I said, things happen or certain energies can come into your life, and
right.
you have to know how to work with them, especially if you know the kind of person you are. For me, you know, and so it was a good and bad, but I'm glad I stabilized on the bad, and for what it's worth, the good. I almost felt like I had to kind of bring out the bad, so to speak.
Well, explain that when you say it.
Well, it's like you said. Sometimes you take it home with you, and you're not fully complete with letting it go. I know that sounds kind of weird to some people, but you have to let some things go, right. And you got to pray about it, or you got to talk to your sponsor. I got a sponsor, or you talk to people in faith group and let them know how you feel. Don't have secrets, Mm-hmm. And sometimes little secrets, like I can hold that secret. That secret's okay. I'm good. I'm not.
Right.
I got to be an open book, and accountability can be hard because it's like every day you're telling on yourself.
Now, do you feel this film has made you more accountable?
Definitely full circle. Like I said, it's definitely put me back where I need to be. And I definitely want to help minister people that are like me, man. Like, we make mistakes, but we're here.
That's right.
And we're here for the long haul. We're here for the hard fight, because it is a hard fight, But it's not as bad as we think.
Well, Paul said you'll fight the good fight of faith. There it is.
The fight of faith, man.
That's right.
So,
man, it's been a powerful interview. Let me just check here. See, I wrote some other things down that I wanted to. I think we almost covered most of it.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
All right. Anything you want to share? Anything you want to tell those that are thinking about seeing this movie and those that are going to see this movie?
I just think that it's a faith-based film, and so it's going to minister to your heart. And I want people to see that we can make movies, and it doesn't have to be all gory and horrific and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The movie can bring something out of you that's gonna going to minister to your heart. You know, I think the love, you know, that we're trying to put into the movie is what's going to show in the end. You know, that these movies is good to make. These movies is fun to make. You know, and that we mean well. We're not trying to put negative energy out there. It's all for God. You know, and that's the best thing I can say. You know.
Praise God. Anything you would want to say to the youth, maybe those individuals that are caught up in gangs?
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them?
Just you know, take it slow. You know, take it slow and know that the streets ain't there forever. We're gonna get old if we get that chance. You know, and you don't want to be locked up in a box. You want to be able to come home. You want to be able to see your loved ones and know that those are the most important people in your life. That the homies and the homegirls and all that stuff, that's all make believe, man. In the end, everybody goes away. The only ones that stick around is family, you know. And listen to your elders and respect what they're trying to say to you, you know. Focus on the importance of what they're trying to tell you, you know. It's hard because I know a lot of people live their life different. They can't relate to us right now, but if we give them that little seed, hopefully, you know, it'll hit them, you know. Hopefully they just keep the ears open, and listen to when people are trying to tell you something that means something.
That's powerful. Last question, and this is a little out of order, but how did growing up, how did the Mexican Mafia, what was your perception of the Mexican Mafia growing up?
Well, you know, I really didn't know. I came from the East Coast. I came here, I hit the ground running, and about the '90s, early '90s. So I'll just say this. I don't want to say much.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But in the '90s, you know, a lot of them came out, and I got to meet some of them. And I was at some of those meetings in Lincoln Park and stuff like that, and in the avenues, and those guys was intense.
So you grew up partly in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really, how was that? How was growing up in LA?
I mean, I was like 19, 20 when I hit the ground running here, but I really got into the criminal aspect of things. You know, I was like a baseball guy. Kilroy related to
like him,
yeah, you know, but he was, but I was doing bad things. But like we would fight in the baseball field, or we would have fights in the basketball court. You know, pushing and shoving, flagrant foul, stuff like that. But not like you came out here and the field was the streets. You know, and it was different. It was different. You know, and dealing with guys that were reputables it was intense, and it let you know where you were and where you stood. And I understood, man. You know, I was like, I don't think I can.
Right.
I think this is not for me.
Right, I hear you.
And I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that.
Now, how did you get introduced into that lifestyle? Just being general.
Oh, me and my friend. We was, I worked at a security company in the hospital. My friend worked there, and he was like, "Yo, won't you come to the neighborhood?" And I was like, "All right, you know, whatever." So I went to the neighborhood, and next thing you know, they were like, "Well, stay here. Don't go to the projects," you know. And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And my friend was like, "Come on, let's go to the projects." Next thing you know, I was over the hill to the projects. And
so opportunities was just opening up.
Yeah. My eyes were wide open, and I was just like, "Oh, yeah, this is fun. This is like, wow, it's intense. And it's all fun and games until pop, you hear some stuff, or it starts getting, you see man down, and it's just like, whoa, this is,
you lost some close friends?
I lost some friends to the prison system, and I lost some friends to drugs. I lost some friends to killings and stuff like that. So yeah, I've seen a little bit of everything.
And so then Brother Squeak came by.
Brother Squeak came by
and ministered to you.
He ministered to me, man, and
praise God. Here you are today, sharing a very powerful testimony on the silver screen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still went through the mud in a lot of different times in my walk with faith.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It hasn't been easy, but I keep coming back.
You've been waving the trials and tribulations, but
I keep coming
staying
back.
on course.
Got to. He teaches me. He tells me, "You gonna keep going out, okay?"
Because you're the righteous man falls 7 times and gets
up 8, right? And he's like, "I'll be here. Just okay, all right. Yeah, I'll be right here waiting for you." Because he don't never leave us. We leave him, because we think And some guy said something profound. I'll be quiet. He said, "Don't confuse your peace. Don't confuse your peace for boredom." And I used to get like, man, it's boring, man. It's like there's nothing to do. It's like, what's going? And you know, a little. Why don't you go out for a little bit? You know.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But that's powerful, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, man, for being here,
Enjoy
man.
this
Appreciate
interview,
you guys,
man.
bro.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you. You too, man.
Okay.
People ask me, aren't you scared? Blood in, blood out, the Mexican Mafia, and I tell them through the blood of Jesus Christ, I'm out. And I never dropped out of nothing or debriefed from anything. I just dropped into something better. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Most High.
Power. So much healing.